how excited I am.
You're bubbling.
I'm bubbling. Yeah.
So off camera, you were telling me about being a mompreneur, and where you first saw that on the show, The Profit.
Yes.
And you said you were already doing the business.
Yes.
And that kind of just sparked even more motivation for you.
It really resonated with me because doing this, the beginning of it really started from kind of I don't want to use the word selfish, but yeah, there was a void because I am a teacher, and I wasn't getting that interaction with my students, and so
Right.
I needed something.
This is during COVID.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So this was during COVID. So then I started doing this, and my husband, so amazing, so supportive. It's like, yeah, go outside, go sand that thing.
Mhm.
And 2 hours later, I'm like covered in sand or
Sawdust
sawdust,
and stuff.
sand.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
covered in sawdust, and then it became, I was doing it once a week, then I was doing it twice a week, then I was staying late after work because I was going to go to my friend's house because she has a bigger garage. And yeah, I started spending a little bit more time away from my kids.
Right.
And I was kind of doubting if I should keep going, doubting the motivation. Why am I doing this? Isn't there another way I can manage my stress? Isn't there another way I could be creative? And then I watched that episode, and he was helping a mom who had a business selling handbags, designer handbags. And she was spending a lot of time away from her kids. And her husband was so supportive, and her kids were so happy, and she just had to be more mindful and more present when she was around. And Marcus was like, in the show, he was really commending her instead of judging her. And I needed that. I needed to hear that at that point, because I was going to stop. We were getting students back in January, I believe it was, and quote unquote things were going to go back to normal. And so I said, I'll just stop. It was a hobby. It was fun while it lasted, but I can't give this more time because I'm away from my kids. And then hearing that, watching that, and then having my husband say, you're so happy. You're so incredibly happy, that I felt like, you know what, I can do this. I can be a mom, and I can follow through with something that I see value in. So it's been difficult, not gonna lie. It's been a little difficult, balancing that feeling of I'm missing out. My husband, he watches our kids full time, because that's another layer of this story of why I started Second Home, is he's been unemployed. His restaurant, he was the GM of a restaurant in Waikiki, and you see, like, and I hope someone in the audience feels this way, but there's a point in your life, and you met the right partner, and you have your kids, and things are just lining up, and you're about to take that next big step of, you got that final promotion, the finances are in order, you're gonna buy a house, you're gonna have that dream, and then COVID happened to us.
Life kicks you in the head.
And it really rocked me. And I tried not to show it to my husband too much in the beginning, because it was so uncertain. None of us knew it was going to last as long as it did.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, May, the restaurant's still closed. Oh, June, the restaurant's still closed. And then October is actually when I started Second Home. And it was in part because, hey, let's find another way to have some income in the house.
Yeah.
I was having a lot of anxiety. I was struggling. He wasn't leaving the house very much with the kids. He is still currently watching the kids full time.
Mm-hmm.
So Second Home was just like this, it was a perfect storm of, we had some financial motivation to do it. We had some mental health, behind it, that I needed this as for me. And then it kind of just all worked together, and I don't know. It's just been a really awesome experience to get this and to get the support from my husband to keep it going and to not give up on it. And it's now, people are saying we're going back to normal, and I do have more students in my classroom, and all the reasons that I started Second Home, they're not really there anymore. Like those external reasons.
Right.
I'm still doing it. I'm still committed to doing it, and I think my husband's been really supportive, telling me, to be brave. And I think I was kind of alluding to that when we were texting, I guess it was this weekend, that I think if I had told my mom or my family or anyone, oh, I'm going back to school, like, I think people would be really, really supportive. Like,
right.
That's a natural next step for
You're going
people.
back to school so you can get a promotion or get better pay at the job.
And there's like this perceived trajectory and this perceived safe path when you think of something that way. But when I tell someone, oh, I'm a mompreneur, or I want to start my own small business, what are you doing during a pandemic?
Are you
crazy? What about the kids? Oh, I try not to roll my eyes on camera, but when I hear that, and I have heard that, you know.
Right. Everybody, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to this podcast on YouTube. And if you're one of our awesome listeners, to any of the audio platforms on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Can you do us a favor? Can you leave us a quick review or a 5-star rating or whatever you think, and leave us some thoughts on how you think we can improve the show? It's going to help us so much and going to help this channel grow ever more and help so many more people. Mahalo.